Does a mortgage survive a tax deed sale in Florida? First of all, I'll give you some tips on making money on this video. I'm also going to tell you how to avoid some of the big mistakes that people make. Most properties will have a mortgage because people finance. About 50% of all properties will have a mortgage. People get a mortgage because they're getting started in buying real estate. Unfortunately, they have crises in their life. They have a handful of kids. They sometimes have a car accident. Sometimes a hurricane blows the roof off. They have all kinds of problems. So they might not pay the mortgage. If they don't pay the mortgage, you're worried about losing a property if you own that property. Everybody's worried about losing that property. Well, the tax man has a lot to say about this. I'm talking about the local county. The local county has a property tax lien. Now, that property tax lien is the most powerful lien on any property. Now, let me say that again. It's the most powerful lien. It's the first lien. It's the primary lien. So let me explain that. When the property first became a subdivision, they gave it a tax number. That number stays with it forever. That tax number has power because the IRS can file a lien, Bank of America can file a mortgage. It doesn't matter who files one. The first absolute lien on a property is going to be the property tax lien. If that's the case, the question that we're answering today is, does a mortgage survive a tax auction? The answer is no. Nothing survives the tax default and auction except possibly another government lien, and it must be filed by date and time. If the Bank of America wants to file a lien on that property because of a mortgage, the county lien is the first lien. It will wipe out the mortgage. How can it wipe out the mortgage? The state law gives it the authority to wipe out the mortgage. So how did they do that? What the county did is they sent notices to the bank and to anybody else that's on title. Everybody that's on title gets a notice. So if an attorney had filed a lien on your behalf because someone owed you, you were a dentist and you didn't get paid, there would be a lien on the property. Your lien has been wiped out. But before it was wiped out, you received a notice from the county that said, this property is in tax default. If someone doesn't pay the taxes, they don't care who. What will happen is the mortgage will be wiped out, or your lien, Mr. Dennis, will be wiped out. Anybody that has a lien, any entity that has a lien is wiped out. Folks, I'll be here to tell you, the only thing that's going to survive a tax deed will be another government lien of some kind. So those of you that are attorneys and those of you that are savvy real estate people, you're probably saying, wait a minute, Ted, the bank doesn't have to get wiped out. They could pay the tax. And that's absolutely true. That's why everybody is noticed. Let's talk about the banks. First of all, let's not feel sorry for them in any way. They don't want any risk at all. If you try to get a bank loan, you have to sign over your first and second born to get that loan. All right, they don't want to lend money. But if they do lend money, they want to lend money on properties where they know they can sell them and do okay. When the notice comes from the government, it comes as a registered letter. Now that's called due process of law. It's just a notice that says, if you don't pay the tax, there's going to be an auction and we're going to take over the property. So they'll send that to the property owner. They'll send that to anybody that's mortgaged on a property. Keep in mind, in the western states, they don't call it mortgage. They call it a deed of trust. Southern states, some of them will call it a security deed. They're all the same thing. It's just an IOU. You owe the bank money, you sign for it. And in the east, they call it a mortgage. The bank can pay the tax that's due, and then the bank has a priority lien now. They don't have a priority lien like the tax lien, but every mortgage has 3 covenants in the mortgage. This is important. Covenants just means promise. Promise number 1. When you sign a mortgage, you say you will make the installments. Promise number 2, you will pay the taxes. Promise number 3, you will pay the insurance. Every bank loan has those 3 covenants. If you don't pay any one of those 3, you have violated the bank loan. So the bank will foreclose the property. But they've got plenty of time now because the taxes are paid. So foreclosures could be 21 days in Texas, 100 days in California, 60 days in Oregon. Every state has a different foreclosure time. But now the bank has time because they paid the taxes. You buy time when you pay the taxes, just like a tax lien. You pay someone taxes, you give them time. Time solves all real estate problems. Nobody likes to wait the time, but that's the way it is. I said that before I finish. I'll give you some tips on making money. Buy all the tax deeds you want, but before you buy them, be sure you look and see what the property is. That's number 1. Number 2, be sure when you buy a tax deed that you have an exit strategy. I have people that buy tax deed properties for 10 cents on the dollar and less, and they've got an exit strategy, so they come out with $25,000, $50,000, even $100,000. To avoid both these very costly mistakes, watch the next video on your screen now, or click the link in the description below.